I made a poll and asked house owners if they rather lived in a 1 or 2-story home. From 2 different groups, I got total of 583 votes. 70% of them is living in a 2-story and 30% in a 1-story house. 53% of 2-story and 92% of 1-story house owners are satisfied with their decision. This means that 47% of 2-story homeowners would like to live in a 1-story house, while only 8% of 1-story house owners would like to build a 2-story home. So, why do we have so many unsatisfied 2-story house owners? Could you please just wait a bit? Persse küll noh. To answer this question, first we need to analyze why we have 2-story houses more. If we look back around 100 or 200 years, then mostly we had 1-story houses, mainly because of 2 reasons. First, people needed less room for living, and the second reason, it was easier to build a lower house. Then later, around 50 or 100 years ago, we got better materials, transport and technology for construction. Building a 2-story house was not a challenge anymore. People moved to the cities and there was less room, so building into heights was a new trend. And elsewhere, where there was enough room to build, a 2-story house was preferred also. The main reason is that people needed more room for living. Here is the house. Here is a chimney. And here is a fireplace. So chimney gives heat around some area around the chimney. If you need more room and you build a bigger house, then you can't heat all that area with one chimney. You can build a rectangle house, but then you need a second chimney. And this is not efficient. If you build a second floor on this smaller house, then you can heat with one chimney 2 floors and bigger house. Today we have heated floors or radiators, so this is not the case anymore. There are many 50 years old renovated houses. So old renovated houses may be the reason why we have 2-story homes more here. And in my experience, there are many renovated house owners who are regretting their decisions. Remember, renovating a house takes more time and money than you hoped, and getting a good energy efficient from a renovating house is a wishful thinking. Another reason why we have so many 2-story houses is that they take less space. The closer to town, the higher price for land square meter. Some lands are even so small that you can't fit a normal size 1-story house there. And in some areas they are not allowed to build 1-story houses. So sometimes because of restrictions you may have fewer choices. The third reason why you have so many 2-story houses is construction cost. People think that they are smart asses, and because of that they make miscalculations. I think that you already guessed what is the next topic about. So, 1-story house, 2-story house. Foundation here and here, and the roof here and here. So on 1-story house there are a lot more roof materials and foundation materials. So 1-story house is cheaper than 2-story house, right? No. It was in the past when materials for one house cost more than work. Today we have relatively cheap materials, but good workers like me cost a lot. So let's go a bit deeper. Foundation. If your land has a good, stable soil, you can choose between slab or beam foundation on a one-story house. On a two-story house, most likely only a beam foundation. Material and logistics cost is about 50% higher on a one-story house, not 100% like many of you may think first. The work cost on a one-story house is up to 50% more expensive, but it depends on many things. Don't forget about second floor. If you are not on a budget and prefer quiet, quality house, then you choose concrete ceiling. Then your budget already is higher than on a normal one-story house with wooden trusses ceiling. Roof. With the one-story house, you have approximately 80% more material. And if you have windows on the roof, then you will have significant increase in work time. Ceiling insulation on a one-story house is the cheapest and simplest to install. On some two-story houses, you may need more time to install insulation than on a one-story house with the same size. For example, here is one-story house, and you can fill here insulation even 1 meter if you wish. But here, in this area, you can fill only sometimes even 25 centimeters or 30 centimeters, depends on the project. So in some cases you need to use here higher insulation, like foam insulation. And here, yes, you can put how much you wish, but this area is colder and more expensive and more time consuming. Logistic cost is only about 20 centimeters higher on a one-story house, mostly because of the amount of insulation needs transport and sometimes the crane working time which are mounting the trusses. Walls. If you have square ceilings on second floor, then one-story house walls are cheaper, just because working on height takes more time. And a small increase of wall surface also. Like this is a one-story house, and now this is two-story house, and you got one extra wall here. If you build a diagonal ceiling, you may save on walls, but the insulation and windows take way more time. And then add stairs also. Proper steel or concrete stairs will eat almost all your savings on foundation and the roof. Of course, you can use cheaper materials and, for example, build wooden stairs and use other cheaper solutions. But with proper materials, on average 140 square meters, and smaller houses is cheaper to build as a one-story house. It just takes that much less time. People who don't see these details think that two-story house is cheaper, and some of them even don't consider to take price offers for a one-story house. Now we can move to the next question. Why 47% of two-story house owners would prefer to build next a one-story house? In my opinion, people buy or build rather too big than a too small house. The bigger house, the more reasonable is the second floor. While building, you may not know how many children you will have, guest rooms, and overall it is safe to build a bigger room than you actually need. Once you realize that you build a too big house, you find out that you actually don't need a second floor and you can add some rooms to the first floor. And it means that you can live without stairs. They are annoying, dangerous, they take away usable space. No one likes them. In old age, people just avoid them, which means they move their bedrooms on the first floor. I can't find anything positive about stairs, rather than you can't build high buildings without them. Now let's talk about climate or physics. As you know, then warm air moves up. In the summer, it is pretty easy. The higher rooms, the hotter they are. This means that more likely you need conditioner on the second floor. This is an extra expense. But in the winter, it is more complicated. With one-story house, the floor heating system is very simple. Under big windows, you lay pipes, the snake method, and elsewhere, the snail method. Easy to calculate efficient heating system. The two-story house is way more complicated. You can play with the distance between pipes, slowing the water flow, calculating the potential warm air which comes from the stairs hall, insulation. Yes, there are smart systems which control the temperature, but you need to give them good conditions so they can work efficiently. Since the warm air moves up, then on the two-story house, the first floor need to be warmer than on the same big one-story house. If you ask me, then one-story house is easier to build, more energy efficient. If we already talk about the energy, then on a one-story house you have more room for the solar panels. Here the solar panels need around 40 degrees angle, so keep that in mind when you project a house. In some cases you have, let's say, 9 meters of maximum building height. So on a two-story house you may have a problem getting here degree you wish. So you can't invest that much in the solar panels as in a one-story house. And finally, it is easier to maintain a lower house. Simple but time-consuming works like window cleaning, cleaning the gutters, washing or painting exterior walls, floor cleaning. On many one-story houses, you can open all the doors and leave the robot vacuum cleaner to do the job. Life is easier on a single floor.